Mr. Nim Rutram, Buddhist by faith, born in Colombo, Sri Lanka. Nim is from Together for Humanity. Nim is a solicitor, entrepreneur, human rights activist, philanthropist, and a vast visiting scholar of conflict and peace of the University of Sydney. I now invite Nim to address the congregation.
Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh. For you are of the divine, and so shall the divine be within you. Thank you for your introduction. Friends, I'm here to celebrate with you the 555th anniversary of the birth of Guru Nanak. My purpose is to speak to you not as a member of the Sikh faith, but as a Buddhist, to show not only what we share together, but what the Sikh concept of peace can offer the world that is indeed in flames. But first, why am I standing before you today, and what do I have to offer all of you? To answer this, let me tell you something about my own story. I was born in Colombo, Sri Lanka, a city where the harmonious coexistence of Christianity and Hinduism colored the fabric of my own upbringing. Growing up in a household that cherished both faiths, as my father was a Christian and my mother was a Hindu, I absorbed the values of respect and the celebration of diversity. But our lives were torn apart by the devastating waves of religious and ethnic conflict. I fled my home as a refugee, leaving my parents and family behind. I sought refuge in India, where many of members of the Sikh community made me feel welcome. Tragically, this tale of displacement isn't unique to me, for many Sikhs have lived the same story of persecution and displacement. It was a period of loss and heartache, but that experience ignited within me a burning passion to dedicate my life to promoting peace with respect and dignity for all. And that is the only way to achieve lasting peace, and hence my role with the Sydney University as a visiting scholar within the Centre of Conflict and Peace that sits within the Department of Politics and Social Sciences. And I'm also on the board of Together for Humanity, and I'm here present with my colleague Dr. Phil Lambert, who leads the organization, for that's a charity that was established to promote interfaith, intercultural understanding, primarily amongst the Abrahamic faiths. I have seen many a conflict in my life, both professionally as a lawyer and personally. I have yet another connection with the Sikh faith. Whilst my wife is a devout Hindu, both my late father-in-law and my brother-in-law have embraced the Sikh faith. So yes, I'm an outsider, but not a complete stranger. And it is from that perspective that I would like to compare the central theme of my own faith, Buddhism, with the Sikh concept of selflessness. The Sikhs, of course, are no strangers to conflict. The faith was born during the difficult times of Mughal rule in India, and today fights to be heard in mostly Hindu-dominated India and mostly Muslim-dominated Pakistan. I'm sure my story of persecution and dedication through service mirrors that of many Sikhs. Yet, the Sikh faith remains committed to peace, to seva, to selfless service. Though the various trials and tribulations of my own faith have led me to be detached and thus a Buddhist, yet I feel that the Sikh faith in fact complements my very own. There is some crossover between the Buddhist ideal of detachment and the Sikh concept of selflessness. Both, for example, preach removal of egoism, self-centeredness, and clinging to worldly pleasures. Similarly, the Sikh framework of the 5 sins, lust, anger, greed, attachment, and egoism, is in line with the Buddhist 5 fetters of attachment, aversion, ignorance, pride, and jealousy. But while Buddhism primarily seeks individual inner peace, something I admire very deeply about the Sikh faith is its commitment to translating that into outer peace. From its beginnings in the conflict between Islam and Hinduism, Sikhism has consistently shown that the synthesis can be created and a way of peace and harmony found. There is a clear emphasis on altruism. The altruistic spirit is expressed in the ideal of self-sacrifice. Really, of course, this is about self-transcendence. It suggests that there is life of detachment. It suggests the expansion of consciousness, the elimination of fear, and service for the welfare of humanity. As Guru Nanak put it, he who does dedicated service in the world gets a place at his portal. This shift from detachment to selflessness leads me to my final point, what the Sikh concept of peace offers this world today. The ancient Romans famously said that if you want peace, you should prepare for war. This is often taken to mean peace through the deterrence of any potential threat. But the Sikh concept of peace takes a different view. Peace through justice. This is not a total rejection of the ancient Roman advice, but instead a refining of it. Desire peace, work towards peace, but be ready to fight for it. For me, this is encapsulated perfectly in the carrying of the kirpan, a symbol of the Sikh willingness to defend themselves and others. Though it is a weapon of defense and stands as a symbol for peace, not war. While both Buddhists and the Sikhs preach personal detachment in some form, Sikhs insist on turning that into contributing to the welfare of humanity at large. Guru Nanak himself worked tirelessly for the betterment of the people. In fact, his devotion to service actually changed discriminatory attitudes of the Hindus in his time. Whereas before, the Hindus considered it impure to help someone of a lower caste, Guru Nanak's teaching of aid to all broke through such rigid class structures. So right from the beginning, the Sikh faith and its concept of peace and service had a distinct identity as a community that was always willing to offer service to anyone in need without making any distinction whatsoever. This continues to be a defining feature of Sikhism even today. In conclusion, I stand here today with a deep respect for the Sikh faith. All those I have known from my days in India through the United Kingdom and now here in Australia, who practiced Sikhism were very pious people, humble yet with the courage to stand up for what they believed in. They had pride in their language, their faith, and their culture. Yet they treated everyone else fairly and respectfully regardless of background. I believe that this unique identity as a religion of peace, service, and integrity offers a much needed challenge to a world fractured with fighting and hatred. The strength of our society rests on the integrity of its members and their concern for each other at the local level. When individuals, families, and local communities are strong, all of us are stronger as a result. I see this strength nowhere more than here in the Sikh community. Thank you. Vaheguru Ji Ki Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh.
Evening for sharing your perspective from the Buddhism and how you related the 5 vices in the Sikhism with the Buddhism.
Sorry, it's DJ.